And now I have the pleasure to introduce Lene Vive Christiansen from across the bridge, from a legendary live concert venue, VEGA in Copenhagen. Maybe been there. If you haven't, maybe it's worth the trip. I recommend highly. Lene is a program director at VEGA. She's head of content and development of a program that hosts over 350 concerts, live concerts a year. Len is also involved in other creative and cultural events all across Denmark, and you work with creative strategies, partnerships, content, and innovation. And you'll be talking about music experiences beyond live. Let's welcome Lene to the stage.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. Let me see if this works. Is the volume okay? Yeah. Thank you so much, Nicholas. That was very, very interesting. I am going to reflect a little bit on all of the stuff you said, and if it's okay with you, take this in quite a little bit more positive way, but still be very reflective on what you said. So I put this up because it's like I got an assignment. How might gathering and bonding around a social bonfire look, feel, and sound like in 2050? What an invitation! I was really flattered, and thank you so much for inviting me. So I work with live shows. I work with musicians. I work with people gathering every day. So I work with meaningful communities in a way. So this whole concept of social bonfiring really inspired something in me. I think we should take that into our minds during this presentation. I'll talk a little bit about venue programming anno this year, 2024, how we work. And I'll also talk about future scenarios of the live music scene. So I've been working quite a lot for the past 4 or 5 years, very focused on how we can evolve the scene, the future scenarios, but also how we can expand the experience by including and involving more people, and actually also reflecting on what you said, Nicholas. How can we open up and be a space for just more people in general, create new friends, and maybe reflect a little bit on that alternative. Why do we have genres that are called alternative to a mainstream? And I think that's really interesting. And last, I will talk about what I call the digital opportunity space, because I'm not going to talk about how we can save the world with technology. I think we all agree on that. But we can use this opportunity space to at least check into some of these technologies and see what it does for us and see where we should be a little bit more hesitant in a way. So a few facts, you talked about some of them. VEGA is what we call a commercial foundation. So we do work on market terms in a way, in a very business kind of the art scene. I know, like, so live music is kind of like business for a lot of people. We do get some government aid, but it's not more than 70% of our total revenue. We have 3 stages. We have these 350 concerts a year. So today we have 3 sold out shows in VEGA. So that's how we roll. We're quite some of a machine. Last year was a record in a way. We have 225,000 people throughout the house. And we have about 60% of our program is actually international. And we work quite focused on that because we want to continue to be a very important, iconic venue for the North Europe area. So this question has been following me around for the past 5 years, and that's why I'm very excited that you guys invited me. How can VEGA stay relevant and create meaningful communities in the future scenario of the live music scene? And I should actually say future scenarios, because as you said, Rena, there's not one future and one perspective of how the future is going to be. There's going to be several different scenarios, depending on who's looking into it. So that's very important. So talking about this stay relevant and meaningful communities, I've been looking for the past 5 years, presenting all these great acts, but the same time as doing venue programming in VEGA, we have a lot of different kind of focuses. How can we be more involving? How can we create and be very foresights about going through a more diverse and a more inclusive venue, both the returning artists but also audiences. But on the same side, we start asking ourselves if we could do more than that, if we could do more than host just concerts in a way. So we've been looking into how we can host residencies and new formats for musical acts that are outside the touring route, because all of this machine is working very well if you're in this touring route. If you release albums, go on tour, you sell tickets, then you can maybe live of being a musical artist. But if we can open up our venue to say, let's welcoming musical acts that maybe are not touring, maybe they're taking a break, maybe they're on maternity leave, maybe they are just not in their creative sense to make something that will fit in a tour bus and just go on the streets for years. So how can we be a relevant stage for something like that? Can we be part of new creative ideas and support our quest for diversity? What does that mean? If we're on this quest for a more diverse scene, does it all fit in these small formats that we created? Can we provide a first-class relevant, a few years ago, I would say a digital venue. Now I'm moving towards a little bit more like a hybrid venue. Can we be something on stage and maybe in this cyber space in a way? And can we use this technology to connect people from a way more broad sense in a way, and to connect new generations to their fans? All right, so that's some of the points that I was going through. During the COVID, we at VEGA experimented with digital and streaming possibilities in a way. We did a 100% digital live concert with China. That was a very, very cool and fun experience, and we sold 18 tickets. We also did some streaming sessions. We did a whole session with emerging artists. This is E.G., and we did some sessions that were more like continuously, and we realized that it was fun. We spent an enormous amount of money to create what came out as a TV show, a very nice and productive TV show. I'm not anti it, but it was not a live concert. And it was too boring to be more than like 5, maybe 30 minutes, but not more than that. But we experienced it with it, and we're not going to completely stay off it. And then I took this picture with me, because on your right side, this is how most of our nights in VEGA looks like. And I love it, and I still get goosebumps just by looking at this picture. And during the COVID, we were quite nervous, and everything was so weird for all of us, and we were thinking, is this going to go away? Are we having the last feelings of what it is to go to a live show? On the other picture, I just wanted to state that during that time, we were experimenting with a lot of different things. This is a concert that Roman Rappak from Wristband did, and we were all wearing VR glasses. And he kind of changed the view, so we were in space, and then we were looking at each other. So it was fun, and this is what I call the digital opportunity space. So when I'm looking into this in a more like positive way, today, all of this out there, this is not going to go away. This is the core. That's what we're here for. But all of this is necessary for us to experiment and to see how we can expand the experiment in a way. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But if we reflect, going back on this whole social bonfire concept, I realized that, thinking about it, we've been sitting around this bonfire situation, being social for ages. We've been there with our families, friends. Today, the communities and the way that we're gathering together is maybe a little bit more cross. And what if the essence of of a future, like a modern way to use this social campfire feeling, is actually a way to find this in live concerts. Here we are gathered a lot of different mule voices, and we can find resonance just by putting on the first song on stage. We're all in the same there. We all have the same unity purpose. We're here to listen to a favorite artist. So all our different views of the world and feelings will just, be this mutual purpose way. And I like that a lot. And I think that unity is very different and very hard to find in other communities around the world. It's a very divided world we live in right now. I'm not saying that live music will save the world, but it is one of the possibilities that we might look for finding some gathering and communities. And there is actually an immense potential here to have a platform for shared feelings that we are maybe looking for and heading for, not even knowing it. And in the future, this communion way might actually be brought up and be, by use of new technology, we can maybe expand this to different places around the world at the same time. So that's kind of my perspective on this. Let's move ahead. So in Las Vegas, they built the Sphere. I was in the Danish radio talking about it, and I'm not quite sure of the numbers, but I think they have 157,000 speakers and screens, and it's insane. In VEGA, we built the lab. It's a little bit smaller, and it has very low ceilings, but we did do a lab, a free space exploring the future. And for the rest, like the 5 minutes from now, I'm going to be talking about some of the cases and some of the experiments we did. I'll go through it pretty fast because of the time, but I can easily go back if you have questions. So in this lab, we wanted to experiment with technology, but also with this way of helping creators to look ahead and be inspired. So our goal is to inspire and facilitate. What comes into this is all about what the artist brings along. This is some students from the conservatory playing a little bit about speakers and how to perform. And Emma is a very, I just met her on that day. She's very, very introvert and not very comfortable about touring, and she was all messy and I don't know how to do this, and she plays the beautiful cello, but when we put that curtain down, it was like she explored, and it was a very fantastic moment to see her in action. We also did a live gaming week where we invited the band Cult of Luna. They did an album, and they did a gaming experience at the same time. So we kind of created this giant VR, and people could bring their friends and they could play their game while listening to the music. And we put up immersive sound, so we had 8 speakers around. So that's another way of experiencing live music, but with another goal. We also experimented with this immersive sound in a more traditional pop music way with the sister that they were experiencing in the lab with their new album, and they put visuals too. And the beautiful thing about trying to experiment with immersive sound is that compared to other live concert where you find your spot and you are looking like a 2-dimensional road, with immersive sound you can walk around and get all these different experiences with listening to the sound. We also did a lot of collabs together with acts playing in the venue. This is a huge collab we did with Fever Ray. We used the lab, and together with her creative and set designer Ilva, we created a space from that music video, What They Call Us. It was a dystopic office space, like in the 90s, these cubicles, and we made it really awkward and weird and put up a soundscape that was kind of horror movie-ish. And the audiences could write messages and reflect on the creative sense in a way. And when I spoke to Karin, they said that they very seldom do interviews. They never do meet and greets. But by being part of this, they felt like we understood their creative message, and that we kind of connected them to the fans in completely new ways. And they were very glad with that we did this for them. Let's do some of it. So we quite did some of these collabs together with live concerts. And these are some more of them. I'm just going to skip through. Hugorm was an album of a Danish band. They played it live, and we recorded everything. And because we took it into like an exhibition, we were able to expand the period that their album was attractive, or was like something new and actual going on. And that actually meant, reflecting on it, we actually created space for them. So they weren't that keen on going on writing their next album, going on the next tour. We gave them headroom. And what it actually meant was that we also contributed to a more healthy way of being a musician, because we could work with the album a little bit more. We invited audiences in, and this exhibition was on for a week, so people with or without tickets to concerts could come in for free and be part of a show that was felt live in a way. I can show you some of it. And for all these different examples, we've had guests coming in that have been so honest to share with us that they would never buy tickets for concerts because it's not something that they are keen on. There was a really honest audience coming in and saying that he was suffering with anxiety and never felt that he could be part of live shows. But when we did something like this, it opened up for him to be part of and being a fan of. He was a very good fan of Hugorm. And we also did we did an exhibition together with Röyksopp, and we just took some of the music that was very meditative and very slow. We put in a bed in the middle and had screens and immersive sound, and audiences for a week up to the concert, they could go in and just lie there and just, feel that they were part of the show. That was quite fun. And then the last one, there's no sound on it, so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. This is me experimenting with an AR figure. I think it's quite fun, but it's also something that I really think some of the technologies that we could actually go ahead and use, because you are able to take this figure with you home on your phone. You can play with it with your friends, and you can connect with your artist in a whole new different way, and I think it's quite fun. This was the Danish artist Ida Kvetny who created this work, and music was by Jeanette Albeck. Oh, here we go. We also installed a complete immersive sound system in our smallest venue, 200 cap. We had 19 speakers set up, and this was experimenting with technology in a whole new way, because in our feeling, we kind of evolved the whole live experience, because you're able to walk around, you're able to get different kind of musical connections in your head. And as you see on the pictures, I don't know if you can feel it, but we kind of got a whole different way of connecting with fans, because they were in it together with the artist. And it is really something very, very special. So in spring this year, we've been working with the larger residencies. We've been working with Mø, with Niels Fram, and with Lucas Graham. And the theme of some of this was also to engage audiences in new ways, to see what is the purpose of what we're doing, how can we expand our goals as a venue a little bit more, and involve. As I talked to you before, the music business can be quite business-ish, and some of the things that we experience a lot is the meet and greet situation, which I don't think that actually the musicians themselves enjoy very much. Try to imagine to give 1,000 hugs in a day. Like how social exhausted would you be with that? And 1,000 photo opportunities. And imagine that some of the fans have paid hundreds, maybe $200 for just that hug. As you can feel, it's not something that I'm very keen on. So I'm trying to figure out if there are different ways that we could connect with audiences. With me, we did this collage session where her greatest fans could sit and do collages because that's some of her ideas. And we were so lucky that she was in on, we created this exhibition that looked like her, it didn't look like, but it was an artsy way to do a copy of her bedroom in her parents' room when she did her first album. And she was so brave and trusted us so much. So she gave us some of the very, very first snippets of her debut album. So we made that into like an art exhibition.
All the time I just want to slacking up and saying fuck, jeg kan faktisk ikke huske. All the time I just want to let go and go on. All the time I just want to.
Oh, I think it's so sweet. We also just finished an residency with Niels Fram, and that was all about settling down, taking it slow. We realized when we introduced all these new technologies to Niels that was just not something that he was keen on. He's very analog. So we took it all about architecture, typewriting messages to his fans, and being all about being in the moment. And that was a very, very, very beautiful experience. We also had the chance to do a residency with Lucas Graham, where we invited audiences all around VEGA, because he was recording his album at the same time, so we could kind of gather them around its exhibition. That was quite fun. So all these things I've been talking about has been, we decided to name it VEGA Beyond because it's something that we're working on, both in a more like futuristic way, but also something that would kind of embrace more people. So last, a little bit about this digital opportunity space. This is Travis Scott playing in Fortnite. I think it's quite new and revolutionary and quite awesome, but also a little bit scary. But it's definitely something that I'm quite keen on, figuring out if that's a way that we should go. This is a group of students from the IT University in VEGA that presented a thought on how we could do a social platform where we invite to connections with artists and fans, and they could put up different kind of activities and being online or meet on site somewhere, but at more free space on the contrary. We've been talking and experimenting a lot with different kind of new technologies. This is will.i.am from Outcast. Thank you so much. Never mind. But actually, it is not. It's his avatar. So what if you were going to a concert with a person who's not really there? I can say that I've been to the ABBA show in London, the hologram, and I have to rest my case. It's the most crazy production I've ever experienced, and I'm not that sure that it's a dumb thing to watch a hologram show if it has a purpose in a way. So keep your eyes open. This is my crazy idea that I haven't. It's just still an idea in the drawer. But what if we could make a show then opening up like a balcony vision? What if we could have the artist and the audience in place, and we can kind of open up into the cyber audience to invite more people in, the people that are able to come to VEGA and have reasons why in both democratic and other ways. So this is a way that we could try to see if we could connect. And what I realize is that maybe here is the difference between a streamed show and an actual concert, because a concert is where you have some interaction together with fans and artists, and that's just some of the ideas that we're going through. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit more about all our different experiments and thoughts about how we could take the live music scene, we have a conference this October called What's Next, where we both have masterclasses like this, and we also experiment. This is Lisa and Louise Obrud embracing the whole motion capture suit to wear on stage. So thank you so much for coming or for inviting me. Thank you.